Hi, my name is Amy Conklin, and this is my presentation on tort liability in the schools. Today I'm going to define tort liability and then discuss 5 different court cases that happened in the school. So to begin with, what is tort liability? That is when one person causes damage, injury, or harm to another person. This can be both deliberate, which is intentional acts, or can be negligence, such as maybe not supervising students adequately. Now we're going to go ahead and discuss 5 different court cases, and I kind of decided to do kind of a historical look. So I'm going to start with older cases and then go to more recent cases. So this first one is Kerwin versus County of San Mateo, 1956, and this involved a 6-year-old student who became ill at school. The school officials tried to contact parents and were unable to contact them, but were able to get a hold of the 11-year-old brother, and they asked that the 11-year-old brother come and get the 6-year-old. The brother did come to get his sibling. He brought a bike. On the way home with the bike, the 11-year-old sustained injury, so the family brought suit against the school district. The court actually ruled in favor of the school district, saying that schools do not have to supervise students on their way home. What reactive measures would have occurred today? Obviously, schools cannot release a minor to another minor without actually speaking to the parents. So if a school official, secretary, administrator did this today, they would be found liable. So what proactive measures can we do? First of all, we have to make every possible way that we can to contact the guardian or the parent. If we can't, then we should first go to emergency contacts. And let's say the student became extremely ill, we would then just have to go through our emergency protocols, such as calling the ambulance and getting the student to the hospital. The next court case I'm going to discuss comes from 1970, and this is Daly versus Los Angeles Unified School District. This is when high school students, during their lunch period, went and engaged in slapboxing. During this interaction, one student fell, hit their head, and then actually died. They alleged that the school district failed to exercise ordinary care and that they were in negligence, and it proximately caused the injury. The courts actually ruled for the plaintiffs, so it was against the school district, and they felt that the school district does have a duty to supervise students and to enforce all rules and regulations for student protection. So reactive measures that would occur today, again, we have to show due diligence to supervise all of our students and make sure that they are following the rules we have set forth for school safety. So unfortunately, that individual who was responsible for supervising lunch would be deemed liable, and I would think could see some disciplinary action from the school that might involve maybe them being fired from their position. Proactive measures that need to happen. This makes me think of some positive behavior support training that I went through, where you are supposed to look at every aspect of your school, see what areas perhaps students can hide in or where maybe students can go, and figure out adequate supervision. It's something that we had to do at my alternative school, is really take a look at the school environment and maybe make changes to the environment, but also make sure that we are supervising every child at every single moment of the day. And that's just a responsibility that the school district has. The third case I'm going to look at is from 1995, and that's Stevens versus Des Moines School District. This is where this one actually was particular interest to me because I often work with students that have the potential to harm other students. And I've always kind of wondered, what liability do we have to protect the other students? So a middle school student was beaten by another student, and this kid that beat up the other kid this behavior was normal for him. He had some violent behavior in the past. So the family alleged that the school district failed to warn potential victims of this kid. And again, I've often wondered about this because as a school psychologist, I do work with some students that have a history of violent behavior towards other students. The jury did find that the school was negligent, basically in the supervision of students, but they did not. The jury did not find that the school was the proximate cause for injury. And in this case, basically, the school cannot always be the proximate cause of injuries, because if a student just gets up and hits another student, we can't always be responsible for that. But again, we do have to supervise all students. So what reactive measures would happen today? I don't know that any different measures would happen today besides making sure that students were supervised. So as far as proactive measures, I have dealt with students like this in the past that we worry about them harming other students. So different things that we have done is to watch their unstructured times. So perhaps they have different passing periods where they're not out with the general public, or if they are out with the general public, they are directly supervised, such as they may have a para right there with them to make sure that no interactions take place. I also wanted to make sure that I had a Kansas case within the court cases that I took a look at. So this one is Jackson and Essen versus USD 259 Sedgwick County. Basically, after PE class, this group of middle school students asked if they could use a springboard to touch the rim of the basketball hoop. And a middle school student then sustained a compound fracture involved in this activity. The family sued the school district for negligence, and the school claimed immunity under the Kansas Tort Claims Act, and the district court granted the school's motion, basically saying that the gym could be used for recreational use. So the school was not found in fault in this case. Some reactive measures that would happen today. I think that school officials would maybe not be so happy with the PE teacher. At the very least, the PE teacher would be talked to regarding the incident, and they would be really forced to take a look at any activity that they allow students to do that make sure that it's safe for all of the students. I don't know maybe if there would be, if the PE teacher might be fired or anything, but definitely they would have to take a great look at what activities they let their students be involved in. And again, that goes right into proactive measures. Don't ever let students do something where they could be harmed. Obviously, accidents are going to happen, especially in PE class, but make sure that all students are safe and that activities are appropriate for developmental levels. The last court case that I looked at was a little bit different because it didn't involve students. It was all around adults, and it involved more of looking at defamation. So this is from Godin versus Schex in 2011. This principal had been fired, and she alleged that she had defamation, and that three different district employees were involved in this. And what these three different employees had done is they had criticized the way the principal had dealt with a student. They felt that she was abusive to the student. The district claimed that the principal had been let go of due to just budgetary reasons. So the court actually ruled in favor of the employees and said that they did not do defamation to the principal. Reactive measures that would happen today. School administrators have to watch the rumorville that happens in their buildings, and have to try to shut different things down. And I'm sure different individuals would need to be talked to involved in this case. As far as proactive measures, any employees in the school need to be careful with information they share and with whom. So basically, if they have an issue that they are concerned about, they should follow chain of command and not talk to any other individuals who do not need to know about the particular incident. So overall, how can we take a look at professional ethics so that we are not involved in a tort liability claim? As individuals that work in a school, we have to understand the magnitude of responsibility that we have for the students. We have to make sure that they're safe at all times, that we are supervising them and providing a safe environment for them. Along with that, we have to make sure that we always understand the worth and dignity of each human being. That involves not only our students, but the staff members that we work with as well. So not sharing information that doesn't need to be shared, and just making sure that everyone is safe and well taken care of. Confidentiality is a big thing we need to be careful with, and that makes me think of another module that we did for this course involving FERPA. Never share information with anyone unless they have a need to know to help that student, and obviously follow chain of command if you have any issues. Supervision. Most of the court cases I talked about involve negligence, and basically that students weren't adequately supervised. So that is something we do have to make sure we do in the schools. And then provide strong communication. As a future building administrator, it's going to be my job to effectively communicate with the staff that I work with, what I expect from them, how we're going to work with students, how we're going to supervise them, and basically keep everyone safe. Thank you.